Howdy ho, you handsome hunk. Grab a snack and gain some chunk. If your day is great or really sunk, we hope to help you shake the funk. So if you're good to hear some junk, buckle up, it's the Junk Monk Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Junk Monk Podcast. I'm your host, Kandyce Sloan, who you know from Instagram at Hardens and Hardhats.
And I'm Noah, your co-host, who you know from Right Now.
If this is your first time listening, let us fill you in. We are watching and reviewing every episode of the USA hit TV show Monk right here each week.
And we're going to do so eating a little junk. So I've got my junk food here, which is some cheese, which doesn't sound like junk food, but it tastes good. So I don't care.
It's the little Baby Bell ones. They're so cute.
They're
like
so
little
cute.
Baby Bells.
And they're so tasty.
And I have some lemon pie here, which I don't know what the brand is, but it's not Joanna Gaines. I'm known for my Joanna Gaines lemon pie. So, also, you must know I have seen every episode of Monk. I'm a huge fan. Started watching in about 2007, and for the most part, watched it as it aired.
I've seen the pilot episode and those we've done on the show, and a few scattered here and there in different seasons.
So, if you're ready to start the show, Toby, take it away.
Here's what happened. This is Season 5, Episode 2, Mr. Monk and the Garbage Strike. Okay, so here's what happened. In the opening scene, we see the city of San Francisco is in the midst of a garbage strike. Monk is beside himself, even trying to take the situation into his own hands, and officially gets the chance when the union workers implore him to figure out what happened to their union boss, Jimmy Cusack. Monk, for the greater good, lies about Cusack's case being a suicide to get negotiations of this garbage strike back on the table. Natalie forces Mr. Monk to re-examine things and declare the case a murder. When he does, it causes the strike to continue on, and Monk cannot figure out the murder due to the overwhelming stench of garbage throughout the city. He first suspects the mayor had killed him because Monk knew that he had been in Cusack's office the previous night and had left his umbrella at a drugstore downtown. But the mayor didn't kill him. He was there to discuss the strike, and admitting so would have been a political nightmare. When Monk visits the world's cleanest room, he gets a clear head. He had the details right but had the wrong man. When he remembers the pack of gold cigarettes from the receipt at the drugstore, he realizes Ron Neely, the union accountant, was smoking the same kind of cigarettes at the crime scene. Neely had killed Cusack because he had been embezzling money from the union and was trying to stop negotiations so his books would not be investigated. Monk and the captain are finally confident with this final summation and take Ron Neely down. Monk once again is trash service and order is restored across San Francisco. All right, Kandyce.
Nice.
What did you like about this episode?
I have a lot of things.
Oh.
I feel like I even missed some because I was writing some down while things were happening that I liked, and I was like, I can't write. So I feel like all the things that I have are from like the last half of the episode. So Monk saying that it was for the greater good, right? Because he's lying.
Yeah.
And he's trying to tell Natalie, because Natalie says she's disappointed in him. And he's like, it was for the greater good. And then she's like, Mr. Monk, I'm so disappointed in you. You were lying, and I can't believe you do that. And this is a man's life. And he's like, Natalie, do I have to tell you again about the greater good? So that was funny. And then when Natalie makes him tell the captain about the fact that it was indeed a murder and not a suicide, Monk's like, it was for the GG. It's like, what? Like, you know, the GG. Come on. The greater good.
I also like how Natalie she sticks up and makes Monk search. And even though Monk doesn't want to, she's like, Monk, like, you're Detective Monk. Everyone's going to believe you. You have to examine the crime scene. So at least Natalie knows where Monk stands, even though Monk doesn't.
Yeah, I put that she makes him follow through, right? Which there's a lot more to it than that. But the part that was funny when they all leave the office and Monk was like, that was easy. And she's like, hey, whoa. You didn't even investigate. And he's like, yeah, I did. And she's like, no, you didn't do the hands thing. And she like holds up her hands. It's so good. And I think that's one of the ones in the credits at the beginning. We always see Natalie doing that with her hands, and it's from that episode.
Yeah, I love that part. I like the plot, like, because the city is like kind of all depending on Monk, you know?
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
It's fun to watch.
Yeah, it's like pretty big time. Like everyone, like when he goes to the union meeting, they're like, wait a second, are you Detective Adrian Monk?
Yeah.
Bam. So
he's getting recognized. He's getting famous, you guys.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Okay, so Monk has like 3 different plans, which is funny because he has like 3 different summations in this episode.
yeah.
And he also has 3 different plans. So his first plan is to burn down the city, right? He tells the mayor, look, here's the thing. We got to evacuate everybody. Then we got to burn the city down. And then we can let everybody come back and we rebuild and we just start from scratch.
No, and then we burn the ashes of the city just in case.
Oh.
We burn the entire city down. We evacuate, burn the entire city down, burn the ashes of the city down. Everyone moves in and we start from scratch. Boom, San Francisco is revived. And what was his second theory?
His plan to drive all the trucks around San
Yeah.
Francisco, pick up all the bags, 1 bag at a time, 1 truck at a time. And they're like, what are you going to do with the bags? And he's like, no, I'm just going to take the trucks, I'm going to drive them into the bay.
As soon as I'm done filling up 1 truck, drive to the bay, boom, go get another truck. Fill that truck up, drive it straight in the bay.
1 bag at a time, 1 truck at a time.
1 bag at a time, 1 truck at a time.
I also like when Randy calls Monk the trash vigilante.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I guess you could call him like a trash vigilante. And Sotomayer's like, yeah, but don't.
As soon as the mayor put his shoes up and he got the cashews out, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
He's the guy. Even though they did a good job sending me the wrong way.
They did.
Because, like, right after that scene, Monk was like, he's the guy. I was like, I knew it. And they're like, no, he's not the guy.
But you did say at the beginning of the episode when you saw the guy throwing away the trash, right? Was that not the guy?
I thought it was.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So you were like, oh, foreshadowing. Wow, that's some huge foreshadowing. It's totally going to be that guy. And then 2 seconds later, they're like, the mayor. Bam. And you were like, oh, it's the mayor.
But, no, but it wasn't. See, that guy I thought was the mayor because he looked like the mayor. But what they were trying to foreshadow was the guy smoking the cigarettes.
Oh, I get it. Okay, I got what you're saying.
Yeah.
So you had it, but then you didn't have it.
Yeah,
You
I
pulled a
don't-
Monk there.
I don't like how they have the guy out of left field because you don't really know him. I think he had like a few talking scenes, but I don't remember them.
I don't remember them either. Yeah.
Very minor character.
Yeah. So I guess you were right. They had to do the foreshadowing because for it to not completely be out of left field,
Yeah.
you had to at least seen the guy once before.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of what they did.
Yeah.
The other Randy parts, whenever they find Monk throwing all the trash bags, right, into the back of the truck, Monk is telling his Alice Cooper summation, and Randy's like, should I be writing this down? He's like, no. And then, okay, so the Alice Cooper summation was interesting. I originally remember being like scared of that summation, like whenever I originally watched it a long, long time ago. I'm sure probably maybe when it came out, I don't know. But I didn't know who Alice Cooper was, so it was like, I was kind of scared by it, honestly. But
What do
this
you
time
mean?
I was watching it, like the rocker guy.
Yeah, no, but what do you mean? Like you were scared by it?
I don't know, like I didn't know who he was, so
Yeah.
I thought like, I didn't know that Alice Cooper was a real person. So I thought Monk was like, obviously he was going cuckoo because, right? He was like, oh, this is Alice Cooper on the thing. And I'm like, who is this vampire guy? Like, you know what I mean? So whenever they like showed him like shooting the guy in the head and caressing his chair, I was like, I don't understand what's happening.
Oh.
But now watching it back, I know who Alice Cooper is. And so it's funny now. So
See, I wouldn't have known who Alice Cooper was, but yesterday night I was watching a TV show for the first time ever, like, and just some random thing was Alice, like, there was like a weird like box on something, because in the show they were like packing, or they were cleaning out their garage, and something said Alice Cooper 86, and then it flashed back to like one of his concerts. So I wouldn't have known who that was.
oh wow.
I didn't watch that last night.
See, you would have been scared.
I would have, like-
I was. Exactly. But anyway, so back to the Randy thing. Randy is kind of like indulging Monk in this crazy fantasy and is like, but why wouldn't he have taken the chair? Which was a really good point. And Monk's like, duh, it had a hole in it. He didn't want it anymore. Then you're like, that's true, but why, if he wanted the and then, so that's when Stottlemeyer's like, Randy, no, we're not going to keep going down the Alice Cooper chair theory.
This is my last one, but disclaimer, there's a lot more likes than I've written down. Like, this whole episode's, like, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, every scene is funny because Monk is just, like, I'll get into that in crazy moments as well. Like, I can't write down, because the whole episode is, like, a crazy moment.
Yeah. Yep.
And, like, I like
I
the
agree.
whole episode. So I just picked out, like, the most that I like the most and how crazy was the most. So this last one is, everyone's a hero except Natalie.
Oh my gosh, of course I have that written down, but then as we already discussed, Natalie is the hero because she's
Exactly.
the one that made Mr. Monk follow through and do the right thing.
Exactly.
But I liked the confetti.
Mm-hmm.
That was the cutest thing ever. I do not remember that part at all. And Monk's just like, yay, throwing the confetti.
And
woo,
Natalie.
throwing it up. They're all throwing it up. They're so happy to see the garbage guys. It's so sweet. And then he makes them clean it up.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, whoa, guys, hey, there's confetti.
I wouldn't have thrown it if I knew you guys weren't going to clean it up.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny. Okay, my last thing was, we saw the return of the yo-yo.
Oh my gosh.
The stress yo-yo,
yes.
which I'm not 100% sure why Stottlemeyer was using the yo-yo, since it's supposed to be an anger management yo-yo, and I feel like he would have been kind of zen in that moment. So I kind of didn't get that, but it was so funny to see the stress yo-yo. And then also the two garbage men.
Have they been shown before?
Yeah, Tully and somebody else.
Aw.
They've been shown before. I think it was in the episode The Captain's Wife, because the episode starts off with Mr. Monk waiting for the garbage men to get there, and those two guys are his specific, like, garbage men or something like that. Oh, wait, I think Tully is his original garbage man. I think I'm getting it mixed up. But either way, I thought that was a really good callback, because I think that was, like, in season 2. So that's, like, 3 seasons ago.
That's one of my favorite things about the show in general. Like, every episode, they'll go the extra mile, like, with some random janitor. They'll hire that janitor.
Yeah,
Like, every
right?
time.
Or the CSI guy and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah, that's interesting.
It's awesome.
So I think I'm done.
Yeah. So, Candace, what did you not like?
Okay, poor Randy takes him to the whisper spot.
Oh, I know. Randy. So
Which they
dope.
didn't point it out, though. Like, they didn't blame Randy for it.
Yeah.
So that was good.
They weren't like, Randy, slap on the back of the head.
But it's just like you see him, okay, guys, let's scoot over some more. And let's scoot over some more. Okay, guys, just a little bit more. Okay, the mayor did it. But Monk's
They're
the
all
one
like,
that
"What?"
says it, too.
Yeah.
So again, I was just like, oh, man.
It's so funny when Stottlemyre realizes that, and he looks at the sign. He's like,
Yeah. What does he say? Oh, crap. Or,
It's so
or
funny.
something like that. It is really funny. Do you have anything for what you did?
I do. I didn't write anything down, but us talking made me realize that I didn't like the guy, as we said, the villain being straight out of left field.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of a downer sometimes. But again, on the other hand, if it had been the mayor, you saw it from the very get-go. And if it had been the mayor, you would have been like, well, that was easy.
Okay. I thought it would have been, like, if it wasn't the mayor, then it might have been his assistant, because his assistant was shady.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
He
I
was
thought it was
so shady.
I thought it was the assistant.
He was
I did
really
not. I mean,
shady.
because again, left field. I haven't seen this episode in so long. I did think it was the assistant.
Because the assistant's so...
I thought he was gonna have his umbrella.
Exactly. He's very shady, like...
He was rude.
and defending. Like, he's like, well, what would he be doing with his umbrella there? Like, that, no.
Yeah. Yep. That's interesting. Now we're like complaining, like, God was out of left field, and we're like, we thought it was this guy, this
Yeah.
one. But they really did have a lot of good Mr. X, obviously, because
Yeah.
we didn't know who it was. So,
That's true.
yeah. I had poor Randy, right? I also have poor Stottlemyre. He gets the total shaft in this episode.
Oh my gosh.
Because, I mean, it took so many years for him to just blindly trust Monk. And then he's like, all right, Monk says it's a suicide. It's a suicide. Case closed. And then He's like, it's not. And he's like, are you kidding me, Monk? I literally just went on TV 20 minutes ago and said it was a suicide. Randy, call the mayor. Dial like the wind. Randy's like, I'm dialing faster. I thought that was cute. And then Monk goes and says, it's the mayor. So Stottlemeyer's like, crap. All right, it's the mayor. And then he's like, wait, it's not the mayor. And then he's like, okay, I have been screwed over 3 times this episode.
Yeah.
So
what else do you have?
So one random thing is my last one. Okay, it's not the same plot, but let me try to explain real quick. People will know who have seen this episode, but Mr. Monk and the Missing Granny was about a chair that was stolen. They actually saw a picture on a flyer of a chair, and then the chair was stolen because they saw the picture on the flyer. Does that make sense? So that was literally the same plot as the Alice Cooper thing, which is, it's kind of, it's not, I mean, I guess it's a dislike in the sense that like, oh, that wasn't very creative to like do the same exact plot. But again, if it was a recall and they remember, then it is kind of clever because you're like, oh, Monk is taking something from his memory. Yeah. Like, oh, hey, there's a flyer and it has the chair just like the other time. Then it would be clever. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, well, did they do that on purpose or not? Yeah. But yeah, so it's kind of random, but that's all. That's all for what I didn't like.
Okay, he's the guy. All right, Kandyce, I want to go right ahead and say my he's the guy. Okay, I'm sure a lot of people recognized him, but the shady assistant was played by David DeLuise, who is the dad from Wizards of Waverly Place.
Yep.
We both like paused and we're like, oh my gosh.
Yep. And he was like, mine. I call it mine. I was like, okay. But immediately after he popped on the screen, I saw a person that I recognized right off the bat, which was Chi McBride, who played the mayor. He was a bad guy on House for like an entire season. He comes and he takes over the hospital that House works at. And becomes, you know, like, you know how in the hospital shows where they're like, oh, we have to do everything the new boss says. Yeah. Or we'll get fired. And House is a little, like, kooky and does things unconventionally. So he has to, like, go by the book and wear his lab coat and all these crazy things. But this guy's, like, a really, you know, bad guy for, like, an entire season until he's done. So that was Chi McBride. Also, obviously, Alice Cooper, right? Which he played himself. So it was kind of a cheatsy one. But I did look up Alice Cooper because I didn't know exactly like what I didn't know. I was like, he's the lead singer of a band, but I didn't know what the band was. But the band was Alice Cooper, and his name is something. I forgot his name. Vincent something is his actual born name. And then he changed his name legally to Alice Cooper. So his name is Alice Cooper now, but because his band's name was Alice Cooper, I guess, for so long. I guess maybe if someone keeps calling you Alice Cooper, you know, you're like, oh, well, if the shoe fits.
Wow, that's weird.
Yeah. So my last person is Salias Weir Mitchell, who was the drugstore manager. I saw him immediately and was like, that guy's a werewolf. Why? I don't watch things with werewolves. Why do I think this guy's a werewolf? And then I was like, oh. So when I went over to my grandparents' house a few times, I noticed they were watching Grimm. And this guy, I'm assuming he was a werewolf. I don't actually remember, like, if he was. But when I saw his, like, sideburns stuff, I was like, oh, yeah, werewolf. So he played a werewolf on Grimm. And he was also in other things. And he was on, like, 24, Medium, and Law & Order SVU. So,
yeah.
That is it for He's the Guy.
Junk time. All right, guys. It's time for Noah's favorite time of the show where me and Kandyce get to eat our junk and talk about Monk. Wow. Is that our catchphrase now for junk time? Our slogan?
I already forgot it, though. What is it?
Where me and Kandyce talk, Noah's favorite show, where me and Kandyce talk about junk, or eat junk while talking about Monk. I think that's what it was. Uh-oh.
I knew we were going to remember.
I'll come up with a new thing every time.
And it'll be like, yeah, that's our slogan. That's our slogan every single time. Okay. So if you guys remember, I think last week we had our very first voicemail. Right?
Yeah. Woo, woo.
And the question was, how do you think that Monk would handle the coronavirus right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I couldn't say this answer before because Noah had not seen this episode yet.
Yeah.
But whenever he walks into the fabrication room, and it's the solid white room, and he has the little suit on with his face
The
cut out of the
hazmat. Yeah.
hole, and he's like, he makes a little smile at the end. That is how Monk would react to the coronavirus. So
Exactly.
and also, I feel like just watching this episode, it was very similar to kind of like what's going on right now, where it's like everybody's like, we're all in this together. Like everyone has a garbage strike. There's garbage everywhere, all around the city. So it kind of has that like camaraderie feel, which, you know, is like what's going on right now. So my question for you is, what would you do with all of your trash? Like, I know you're a kid and you're not really responsible for that.
Yeah.
But like, if you were an adult and your kids kept piling up trash, right, what would you think to do with it?
Ooh, okay. I wouldn't do what everyone else is doing and just putting it outside of my house, because no. I'd make my kids, like, divvy it up around the block. Like, so not everyone's like, hey, there's a giant pile of trash in front of my yard. That's theirs. No, they go and they make it look like it's other people's trash. Like, okay, Jimmy, you take 2 to Miss Hansfield over there. All right, Sally, you take 3 to Jack over there, right? So they just divvy it up. It's smart.
That's a pretty good plan.
And then just like shovel it like snow out of our driveway. Like if anyone tries to do that to us.
Okay, so what about your neighbors if they're like, oh, so what are you guys doing with your garbage? It's getting crazy out there. Where's all your guys' garbage?
Okay, we are putting it in the backyard.
Wow, it must look like a wreck back there. The poor kids have nowhere to play.
Well,
rough.
we're just going to the park.
Oh, I heard there's garbage there too. What does it look like over there?
Not that bad. They're having a blast.
Oh, okay.
Look at me.
I heard the other day my little Susie, she went down to the park and she said all the kids were basically climbing all over the garbage piles.
Yeah, it's super fun there. They love it.
Do you think that's sanitary?
I don't care.
You win some, you lose some. Kids, I mean, like, it doesn't matter. They might come back home, they might not. So, okay, one thing I noticed, I felt like I would have smushed the trash a lot better than people were doing. Like, you know how when you don't want to push down the garbage, so you kind of just stack things on top of it. And you're like, oh, I don't want to be the one that takes the bag out. And, like, nobody wants to be that person. But in the case of a garbage strike, you wouldn't, like, smush down all of your trash as hard as you could to make, like, more room, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fit. Like, I thought of that. And then I thought about putting it in my garage.
Yeah.
Just piling it up. And then also, I got the idea from Mr. Monk to just drive out of town and find somewhere that has some type of store or something that has a dumpster in the back, which is illegal, by the way. So I don't think you can do that. But, I mean, come on. Desperate times, right?
Exactly.
If there's a city right next to you that doesn't have a garbage strike going on, you just drive upwind or downwind, I guess you could.
Or, like Monk, just mail it over there.
Just mail it over.
Why did he have to give it to Dr. Kroger? He could have given it to his, like, neighbors or something.
I thought he was going to mail it to Natalie.
Wasn't he about to? Oh, no, he was like, what's your address for the post?
Oh, yeah.
That was funny.
That was funny.
I thought he was talking to Natalie. Yeah, no. He should have.
Yeah. I thought they were good. I don't know. I just had this, like, vision where I'm like, does he mail it to Natalie? And, like, Julie's like, Mom, what is this?
Yeah. I guess they didn't want to pay Julie or something.
And then
Cheap.
And then Dr. Kroger, poor Dr. Kroger, are you sending me your garbage? No. Adrian, it's coordinated by color and food group. It's disturbing my wife. It's disturbing my children, and I need it to stop. That's so funny. I didn't have that in my likes, but
That's funny.
okay. Are we done with
Is that
junk
it?
time? Yeah, but
Kandyce.
I need another piece of pie, though.
That's all you had for me? One?
I mean, I thought it went pretty good, though. We came up with the whole scenario where you're a really good liar.
That's true. Plot holes. All right. Kandyce, what are your plot holes?
This is kind of a random one. You had to kind of notice it, but when Monk was investigating the office, right, that was like rubber gloves and an evidence bag like on the desk.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like there was crime scene tape, which kind of makes sense. Like, don't come in here. This is a crime scene.
Yeah.
But there was like used rubber gloves. Like someone just left them there. And like, why would they do that?
Yeah.
Why would there be crime scene investigation stuff
Yeah, I noticed that.
left on the... I thought that was weird.
All right, Kandyce. I have nothing for plot holes,
Oh,
so
jeez. Okay.
take over.
All right. So, would the streets really look like that?
It didn't say how long they've been doing the garbage strike, so we don't really know.
Because I do understand people do put their garbage out at the street. Like, that's how they get rid of it.
Yeah.
But then when people were, like, tossing, like, loose trash on it, like banana peels and stuff, I was like, why would you do that? Because the trash men don't pick things up like that. And then we saw that when he throws the confetti. They're not going to pick up confetti on the street.
Yeah.
They're going to let the rain wash it away. They're going to let the rain wash a banana peel away. So why would you... You know the trash men are coming back at some point.
Yeah.
So why would you start throwing loose trash onto things? I don't understand that. Especially if it wasn't your trash outside of your own house.
Yeah.
So, like, that's gross. You're literally going in front of somebody else's house and throwing your used food on it.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was weird.
That's true.
Oh, and then, like, the outside of Dr. Kroger's window. What idiot was dumping trash bags out of the second floor onto his... Like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, it was kind of like maybe... Because for comedic effect, but then, like, I feel like that had to have been. Because what kind of rude tenant... Like, that would have been his neighbor, like, you know, his business neighbor upstairs is throwing stuff onto his... While he's having a session with a patient.
Who hates garbage.
Hates garbage. Like, yeah, I don't know.
I think it would have been funny also to mention Harold and being like, yeah, Harold's doing the same thing. And he was like, you can't mail me your stuff. He's like, I found out the other stuff was from Harold, too.
Oh,
that would have been funny.
Yeah, oh, yeah, he could have said, like, it's organized by color and food group. And then what if Monk was like, I didn't coordinate by food group. And then he's like, yes, it was. You know, you had this and this and this with this. And he's like, Harold. Or something.
Yeah.
And then Dr. Kroger's just like, you know, puts his hand on his head like, oh, no. I feel like that would have been some, like, really funny, but then, like, from some solace for Adrian. Like, Harold's doing it, too. Or he would have thought, oh, God, I'm just as crazy as Harold.
Oh. Okay, this isn't the plot hole that I was thinking of, but this is another plot hole. Are you ready? Monk claims to not know where Dr. Kroger is in another episode, because Harold does. And he's jealous of Harold, because Harold's, like, friends with Dr. Kroger, remember? Mm-hmm. He's been to his house, and Monk doesn't know where his house is. So then how does he mail the stuff? And also he talks in public again.
He does talk in public again. Which he did, he talked in public at the election, too. Remember whenever Harold was running?
The election. Oh, yeah.
He talked to the same kind of microphone thing.
Yeah.
But what was I thinking? There's an episode, though, we've seen already, and I can't remember which one it was, where Mr. Monk is waiting outside of Dr. Kroger's house. Because...
Really?
Yeah. I think it might be the sleeping suspect. I'm pretty sure that he's sitting outside of Dr. Kroger's house because Sharona comes up and knows where to find him. And then we see Dr. Kroger in a cab pulling up to his house from vacation. He tells the driver, just keep going, keep going. And he's like, what? And he's like, you said this was your house. And he's like, it is, keep going. Because he sees Monk sitting outside.
Aww.
So then that's another plot hole because, again, he does know where Dr. Kroger lives.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll have to check on that. We'll have to check and make sure that's what he says there.
Make sure that's legit.
And, yeah. We'll see. We'll see. We will see.
We will see.
We will see. Okay. My last plot hole is, was Monk not wrong before they made a big deal about him being wrong? Was he not wrong whenever and Mr. Monk gets drunk? Remember at the beginning, he thinks that Larry Zweibel had paid off all of the people so that they would deny that they had ever seen him there. And that's of, he's like, oh my gosh, yeah, he paid him off. And then he's like, wait a second. no, here's what happened.
Yeah, Monk
He
definitely has been wrong
died."
before.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
How crazy was Monk this episode? Plus crazy moments. Okay, so let's list off the crazy moments first.
Wait, I thought we were supposed to do out of 10 what first?
Okay, Candace, out of 10, what would you rate how crazy Monk was?
Okay. Out of 10 pieces of Monk confetti.
Okay, like mine better. Ready?
Okay.
Out of 10 Monk bags of water.
I almost put boxes of trash, but I was like, there was so much trash though. So, like, I didn't know if it was like distinguishing enough, but yeah, that's cute.
Bags of water. Okay, so once again, as I said earlier, like for the likes, mine is just, it's not everything, since basically this whole episode is a crazy moment and Monk, the whole city is like under lockdown, right? So he's acting crazy everywhere. So these are just like my most crazy moments. All right. So my first crazy moment is Monk wants something to happen to the president of sanitation workers. And that's just so funny to me. The fact that he just wants this guy to die.
Yeah. And Natalie's like, no, you don't.
Don't say that.
Don't say that. You're going to be so upset if something happens. You do. What did they go back and forth saying? Because she's like, no.
He's like, yes, I will. Or he's like, no, I won't. Because I want it to happen. It's so funny.
And she's like, yes, you will.
No, I won't.
Yes, you will. Because you can't see. Natalie can't see Monk when he's talking, and then so he mouths, no, I won't.
Oh.
Remember?
No.
You don't remember him mouthing that? It was so funny.
No.
They were going back and forth, and then he's like, no, I won't. And she doesn't say anything. It's so funny.
Okay, well, what's
my first thing is he can smell the garbage, which I don't know if that's as crazy. I don't know, because Natalie kind of insinuated that she could smell it too.
Yeah.
But because she starts to light the incense, and then he's like, incense is worse than garbage, which I agree with. Yeah. Incense is very strong and does not smell good. But
Monk lies about the murder to everyone like a baby.
That was crazy.
Like, man up. Ugh, Monk.
He could not handle it.
I know.
He literally couldn't handle it. That was pretty crazy. Of course, he mails his garbage.
Yeah. Monk hasn't slept in 9 days.
Did he say that?
Yeah, in Dr. Kroger's office. Because he has nightmares. Or he had nightmares as a kid, and he hasn't slept in 9 days.
What? I did not catch that. So he interrupts the union meeting, right? Which is not that crazy once again, but he just wants to, like, say, like, peace, you're the heroes now, everybody, let's get back to work without having done anything.
Yeah.
So that was kind of, like, silly on its own.
Yeah, the fact that he only used his towels one time was just funny to me.
That was crazy. I was like, oh, maybe it was just dirty. But then it shows it again where he, in fact, uses the towel for the first time and then chunks it. I was like, yep. That part where he calls Stottlemyre bad at his job. Do you remember that?
When?
Whenever he's like, ugh, why did I have to solve the case? Why couldn't I be a normal detective?
Oh my.
And he puts his hand on Stottlemyre's shoulder.
I was like, oh.
And we looked at each other like, oh, that's awkward.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, he's that out of it, guys. Like, he is that far, like, he knew what he was saying, but he didn't. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's always very encouraging to Stottlemyre when Stottlemyre thinks, like, oh, man, you know, I always have to call you, and gets down on himself. And Monk's like, no, you're a great detective. Like, Monk is so far gone that he just legit, like, ugh, I wish I was more like you, and sucked.
Yeah.
Like, that was crazy.
Monk wants to burn the city down.
Yep. We mentioned that he mailed his garbage, but we didn't say that he mails it to Dr. Kroger, right? So, but then he just tries to get the UPS guy to, he's like, hey, there's no address on here. He's like, just take it anywhere. Like, I can't just take it anywhere. It has to have an address. Isn't there like some type of storage place you guys could just stick it in the corner? And he's like, sir, I need an address. And he's like, okay, what's your address?
Monk tries to clean up single-handedly with his one truck at a time, one bag at a time.
One truck at a time, one bag at a time.
time.
One truck at a time,
One bag at a time.
Whenever he accuses the mayor of murder, right?
yeah.
Not crazy within itself, but when he confronts him on the street, the mayor's like, "What do you want me to do? How do you want me to fix this? Because I didn't do this." And Monk's like, "Okay, so what I was thinking was you could confess." And then that's it.
And of course, his Alice Cooper theory. Duh, because it's just completely ridiculous.
So everybody knows that rock and roll people are always collecting antiques, especially chairs. They love chairs. Alice Cooper saw the newspaper with Jimmy Cusack's chair, and he got jealous with envious rage. And he just took a gun and shot him. But then he put a hole in the chair so he could take the chair. Like,
So funny.
yeah, that's definitely that one kind of takes the cake. That's when that's when Stottlemeyer's like, okay, we need to put this guy in a room.
Yeah.
That was his breaking point there.
Exactly.
So that's my last one. So out of 10 pieces of monk confetti.
Okay, so out of 10 bags of monk water, it was a 9 out of 10 for me.
Really?
Yes.
Wait for it. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10?
Yes. Out of 10 pieces of monk confetti.
Okay, that makes sense.
I've given them all 10.
No, that makes sense.
I'm giving them all 10. And I've never done this before, ever in the history of the world, ever done this. But for one, that was a lot of crazy moments.
No,
like
that
we
makes
said
sense,
before, we literally couldn't even talk that long about our likes because all the moments were so crazy.
Yeah.
We had to put them here. And then he lies about
a
the
murder.
guy being murdered. Like, it's almost like an out of character monk. Like, he's so in character that he would be distressed by a garbage strike that he becomes so out of character.
Yeah.
Because we know he's so, like,
He
kind
becomes,
and moral.
He becomes, like, the monk, or maybe, like... It's fun to see Monk go into these things like Drunk Monk and the monk. And it's just funny to see him change his iconic personality.
Yeah, exactly. So, yep, that's a perfect score of crazy for me.
9 out of 10 for me. Rate this episode. All right, Candace, what would you rate this episode?
Okay, so overall, I thought this was a great episode. Had tons of funny parts, tons of crazy parts.
Yes.
It was very interesting to see Monk so in character, but also very out of character.
Yes.
And I liked it. And so far, season 5 is off to a very strong
Amazing
start.
start.
So I rated this one a 10.9.
All right, I rated my episode a 9.5
Oh, wow.
out of 10.
Nice. Okay. You like this one, huh?
I really like this one.
Yeah. That's awesome. So, season 5 off to a really strong start. I actually cannot wait to see the next one because Noah likes to scroll on the TV and see he likes to scroll on the TV, read the name of the episode, and then starts trying to read the summary that's underneath it. So I have to tackle him for the remote control so that he can't do that. I hate spoilers so much. And even if somebody's trying to spoil for themselves because they're like, I don't care. I'm like, yeah, but I care enough for you. So I will take you down.
Ugh.
Am I wrong?
Candace. No, every time.
And then he always does the, it slipped.
But
Mr. Monk and the blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I will murder you.
But next episode is Mr. Monk and the Big Game.
Ugh,
and we watched the beginning clip as well. So I got lucky on that one.
I was writing and he started
we get to see a little bit more of Julie. So
oh my god, he is going for it, people.
And
okay, before he starts rating this episode,
and apparently
let's just cut it off. Okay,
the coach actually gets.
Oh my gosh, I literally am covering his mouth.
Ooh,
okay, that's
but
enough.
It's so
okay, guys.
good.
So we will see you next time. We'll see you next week when we do some episode that you don't know what it is yet. Okay.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you guys at Mr. Monk and the Big Game. Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Junk Monk Podcast. We'd love to hear from you, so please rate and review us wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, follow us at Junk Monk Podcast on Instagram.
If you want to know more about Kandyce, she's at Hearteds and Hardhats on Instagram. And if you want to know more about me, Noah L, too bad. Also, you can catch up on Monk with Amazon Prime Video.
Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast.
You'll thank me later.